Wow, thinking about my first memory.
My first memory.
My first memory of Bryan's campus.
My first memory here on Bryan campus was sitting in the Ray room. I was sitting with my family. It was the first time I'd ever been on campus, and I remember Andrew Smith, he was my admissions counselor at the time, and I just remember sitting there thinking, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where God has called me to be. This felt like home away from home.
When you show up to your dorm to move in, you are met with an army of students. So for me, I pulled up, and where I'm from, you didn't want people digging in your car. So it really caught me off guard when there was 30 kids that came running to my car to unload it. And the unique thing about that was my trunk was full of nothing but shoes. And there's at least 35 pairs of shoes in boxes. And people didn't know what to do with me. And they're like, all right, this guy's not from East Tennessee, is he?
My dad and I drove up from Orlando, and what I didn't realize at the time was that when I got here, there were going to be students who were there to move me into my dorm. But the problem was, like, I'm here, freshman, trying to be cool for the new students that are swarming. The thing on the very top of my trunk is a Cookie Monster pillowcase. And I remember just being like, oh my gosh, I have just made a fool of myself. Little did I know that kind of stuff's kind of cool in college. But I remember that was the first thing that the student's impression of me was, and he was like, nice pillowcase, dude. And I was like, oh, Mom, why'd you do this to me?
These are the ones that came before you. The students who walked these halls and lived their lives, building this campus and preparing it for you.
In a place that is smaller like this, the students are not anonymous numbers, but rather this hill, these buildings are covered with the fingerprints and reverberate with the voices of the students who walk these halls. And each individual student gets to be a distinct part of that. The way that you're made, the way that your personality has been designed matters here. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing to others. It's a blessing to those around you.
More than 90 years later, Bryan College has survived by the love of its students. The ones who grew the food the cafeteria served, who moved the lumber for the campus's first chapel, and the ones who laid the bricks of the first administration building. That history isn't over. It continues with you. With every day and every step, you are creating Bryan. These walls, these hills, these people are not just here for you. They are here because of you.
Bryan is its students. Sure, faculty and staff, we're called to be here on campus to serve you, but you have a calling to be on this campus. Bryan is made up of students who have believed what the Lord has called them to do and have had the courage to live it out and to make a difference.
There's no doubt about it that Bryan is the students. The faculty are great, and they're very active, involved with the student body, which is fantastic. But the students, those relationships, sometimes at a bigger school, you don't have that opportunity. But at Bryan, you're gonna meet everybody. That's for sure. It's a family.
I feel like this is so true. I feel like when you look at Bryan's history, when you look at since my time here, my parents' time here, like Bryan has always been a small school, and students, we've never had like a huge amount of students, but the students that we've had have made such a difference on how this campus operates. It's not like without students, yeah, sure, obviously a college needs students to run, but at the same time, like the students are the very being of the college. They built this building, Mercer. They literally laid the bricks here. They built chapels on campus. They were there for the fire. And while I was a student here, man, the students, they came around those who were hurting. Students will show up and help new professors move in. Students are not just even the lifeblood of Bryan, they are Bryan College.